going on, Jerome? It's a beautiful Tuesday morning. Birds are chirping and stuff. Sun came up to a degree. It's time for Daily Vikings News Dump. He sees you when you're pooping. All that stuff, man. So it's weird. So officiating in the NFL, as well as college football this year, it feels like it's just been off, where inconsistent rules and inconsistent calls and just blatantly bad calls seem to be cropping up over and over and over again. And it's really put a blight on the National Football League this year. And it's so weird because usually the Chiefs are the ones that get the calls. Put your helmet back on. All that stuff. But I'm on the greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers. Whatever. Sort of were the benefits of a couple of calls in the Sunday Night Football game. So, but it is what it is. But I mean, yeah, it just seems weird. And we said this theory before. I think to a degree, the NFL actually likes when there's controversial calls, but I don't know, like this, it just seems like it's so poor and everything is subjective and everything. I don't know. It just seems like it's a mess this year. And also, it does feel like officials are basically deciding games at the end, where they're over officiating, even though, yes, well, if it's a penalty in the first quarter, it's a penalty in the fourth quarter. Fully understand that stuff. But it feels like when it's really close, officials are inserting themselves into the narrative. And it's kind of tough, man. Also, something that isn't tough is the Vikings back in action. Yes, have lost 2 games in a row, but they're 6-6, the 6th seed in the 666. It's no bueno. Gonna have to move up to the 5 seed. Sorry, Cowboys. But the Vikings open as 2.5-point favorites against the Raiders. Now, again, fully understand that the Vikings have lost their last 2 games, but getting Justin Jefferson back. Don't know who the quarterback is going to be. We'll find out this week. But Vegas always knows. In Vegas, which is important. And it's important. So bet favorites early, bet dogs late. And you grab this 2.5 now. A couple of jelly beans. Go ahead before this moves to 3, which it potentially could. So who knows? So the Vikings hopefully going to get it done on the road against the Raiders. But someone who ain't going to be there and someone who hasn't been there for a while. So it's been really weird. So Mike Smith took some time away from the team, outside linebackers coach, as well as defensive line coach Chris Rumph a couple weeks ago took a leave of absence as well. But apparently Rumph is heading back to the college ranks. He's heading to Clemson. And it's just weird. So Brett McMurphy, Clemson adds Matt Luke, former Ole Miss head coach, and DN coach Chris Rumph. Luke was most Rumph assistant with the Vikings. And then Gessling, Vikings D-line coach Chris Rumph, who taken a leave of absence from the team earlier this season, is reportedly headed to Clemson. So, I mean, a lot of people. It's a weird situation now. The most reasonable explanation would be, did Rumph and Flores not see eye to eye, and then Rumph just sort of hit the road for a little bit? But I mean, he's good to go, and he got himself another job. I mean, the timing of this is weird because if it wasn't that, then I don't know. It's just an odd dynamic. I'm sure that details of it will leak eventually, but it's just weird. It's just strange, man. Also strange is the quarterback position is the most important position in all of team sports, and injuries do happen, and they really suck. But if you look at the AFC right now, who's on the backup quarterback? All 3 wildcard teams are currently on the backup quarterback. The Steelers with Trubisky Ponder, the Browns with Joe Flacco, who's like their 4th quarterback, and Gardner Minshew stepping in for Anthony Richardson with the Colts. And also Jake Browning is doing the damn thing. What we're watching right now, 4th quarter, 28-28. We'll see what happens. But Jake Browning's in there. And also, I mean, the Jaguars could be on the backup quarterback too, because Lawrence just got stepped on by Wheeler Walker Little Jr., and that did not look good. So I do think teams need to make more of an investment in the backup quarterback, because it's a physical game, and ish does happen, and also non-contact injuries happen too. You absolutely hate to see it, but you have to have someone who can at least captain the ship, who can at least move the ball and win you a couple games. And the Vikings, when Kirk went down, I mean, Dobbs and Hall, I mean, they've gone 2-2, which in the grand scheme of things is not bad. Could have been 4-0 if they didn't turn the ball over, but it is what it is. And for the NFC, I mean, the Vikings are really the only ones rolling with that backup quarterback. Although the Falcons have flip-flop back and forth, except it hasn't really been performance-wise. But the NFC has been relatively healthy with their starting quarterbacks, but except for the Vikings. But the Vikings still fighting, still in there. But again, I think teams are going to start to pay a premium for guys like Jacoby Brissett, for guys like Gardner Minshew, for guys like not Mitchell Trubisky-Ponder, but guys that could come in, know the system, and could get something done. And I think that's exceedingly important. It's like first you buy the Haas, which is the quarterback, and then you buy the insurance, which was the left tackle, but now it's the QB too. Don't have a good transition. But Shaq Leonard, who reportedly the Vikings had interest in, he had visited with the Eagles and the Cowboys, but he's going to play with the Eagles, whatever. Like, he saw how the Eagles operated against the Niners, like, I got to be part of that. I got to get me some of that, man. So right now, Darius Leonard just didn't want the pressure of playing next to Ivan Pace Jr. No big deal. It happens, man. Something that also happens is, shipping. So Deion Sanders, Colorado, took college football by storm in September. They went 3-0. And also, what's insane? What is insane is that they were the most bet on team to win the national title. Like, they were the biggest hold for the sports books. How insane is that? But anyways, back September 19th, I tweeted this out. My Deion Sanders sunglasses will be here in December. Colorado might be 6-6 by then, but don't care. Still going to be hyped. So, not going to lie, these sunglasses are really good. They're made by Blenders. They're a Southern California company. And I understand, like, the demand was exceedingly high, and they had to get production up and running, and I'm sure get some imports in, all that stuff. But, my prediction of them being 6-6 was a little bit too optimistic, but that's what I do. So right now Colorado is 4-8, but got the sunglasses, and they're really damn cool. I'm not gonna lie, and I do believe in what Prime is doing. I do think that the transfer portal and a couple of good recruiting classes will get Colorado up to snuff, but this year just wasn't it when they actually had to play teams with talent. But also, they had a couple close games. I mean, they had a one-score game against USC. I mean, it was close against Utah, which is a good team. So, I don't know, man. Yeah. Something I also don't know is, so Brock Purdy right now has the shortest odds to be NFL MVP, which I don't know. I like Dak is up there too. Jalen Hurts is pushing his way into the conversation. But what I don't understand is, again, NFL MVP is just a bias-ass quarterback award. It's worse than the Heisman. Absolutely is. And occasionally a running back will get it. I actually do think that Myles Garrett, if he had been healthy, would have been in the conversation and should have been. But I mean, if Tyreek Hill goes for 2,000 yards and the Dolphins win the AFC East, like, how can he not get some consideration? Like, Brock Purdy is good in what the Niners ask him to do. But, I mean, the San Francisco put the bang thing on the Eagles, except what throws did Purdy make were out of this world? Or is he dinking and dunking? Is he throwing screens and checkdowns and slants to all-pro players like McCaffrey and Debo and Kittle and Ayuk? Like, does he have a great supporting cast? Does he have one of the best defenses in football? Yes. But MVP? I mean, Brock Purdy's like the 10th best player on his team. Maybe. I just don't understand it, man. But also, where was all this hype when Kirk Cousins was playing at an MVP adjacent level? But our guy Ben Fox, speaks of sports betting, I mean, the Niners are looking good right now. They are, man. He tweeted this out. One odds maker I spoke with today has the San Francisco 49ers power rated a full 5 points better than any NFL team on a neutral field. He has the Cowboys and Dolphins tied at number 2 and the Chiefs right behind them. So, doing boy math, beep, bop, bop, oh, boop. So the Niners are perceived by this bettor's power rankings as the number 1 team in the league, but the Vikings beat the Niners, so the Vikings are number 1. No big deal. That's all I know. Man. That's right. But that's it. Take a look at the Vikings news dump for this beautiful Tuesday morning. Woo! Got the prime shades. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. While support the work, put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.